Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dawn. It has been a while since I have made any videos, especially any related to actually making junk journals. I have so many unfinished projects. The big life updates, there's a lot of them, but the most important one in terms of like video making is that my daughter has started part-time preschool. She's my youngest, so my son's in kindergarten. My daughter's in part-time preschool. So here we go. We are back. I've been working on trying to finish projects, get my place clean. Everything kind of gets a little crazy when you don't have time to work. The other big life update is that I am starting to get involved in teaching, workshops, clubs, just starting to get involved around the community, working with bookstores, working with coffee shops. I'm working with an art center, so I'm starting to teach classes. And so today I'm going to start off because this is something I have to get done, a bit of a deadline, so this was a good one for me to start with. I have this really beautiful book club paper pad. I have this vintage story here. I couldn't even tell you what book this is. Just a book. Doesn't matter because it's not going to be that book anymore. What I am doing is I am taking this book club paper pad, I'm taking this mess of papers I have here, I'm taking whatever else I pull from my stash on the way, and I am creating a upcycled hardcover book junk journal. And the reason I'm doing this book club one is because in April I will be teaching a class making reading journals or like book club journals. So I'm practicing so I can have an example. So I'm going to walk you through it to practice for teaching my class. First thing I'm going to do is I have my book. It has this beautiful, not sure how well it shows up on camera, but is a really soft blue. It's got this golden yellow spine. Our paper pad has some blues and some pinks, and we'll see what we can find for yellows. Like there's a yellow here, so we're going to pull. I have decided that I'm going to do 3 signatures. Each signature is going to have 10 pages. And each signature is going to have 4 pieces of scrapbook paper. So I'm going to go through and kind of look at this paper pad. It is so beautiful. And try to decide how I'm going to put together. These are bookmarks, so these are awesome. So I'm probably going to end up cutting these out and tucking a few into my journal. We have genres, poetry, folklore, rom-com. We have books. This paper pad is from Michaels, but it was from Michaels like a year ago. Book club pieces, so I'll probably be cutting these out. There are 2 book club style. This is awesome. I love this one. It has all the colors in it. There are 2 book club style paper pads at Michaels right now. Depending on if yours still has them, they might be sold out. I like this page because that's the like a tan background, and that's a dark green background. That's beautiful. So if you want to kind of follow along and make your own, you can either join my class if you live in Illinois, or you can grab yourself one of the book club paper pads that's at Michaels right now, and then you can follow along with me in the same style but different paper. So I need 3 signatures, and usually I'll do something like the first and if I have 3 signatures, I'll do the first and the last signature. I'll kind of have them mirror each other, and then the middle one will be different but coordinated. So I think I want to pull something that's going to go with the blue, which isn't really on the inside of the book, so it doesn't have to be perfect. maybe Book Lovers Club. Pull that one out. I like the idea of opening the book. So that's cute. I think I just kind of have to pick 12 and then organize them because it's going to be a hard choice. So this one for sure. So I'm going to put them over here so they don't fall. 2, 3. So these could be, see, that's kind of busy for the 3 signature fronts. So I don't think that's going to be, I think this is going to be the first page on the first signature. This is going to be the first page on the last signature. So then I need something kind of neutral in between. I like this one. And then for that to coordinate, I want, ooh, this one. So I have these 3, and I'm just kind of talking through the way I think about it is I have like 2 that are green. This one's beige. These kind of go together. That has the books. So it'll probably be one of each of these in the first and third signature, and then this one in the middle signature. So like those 3 are going together. And then I did see this, and I'm wondering how do I feel, and I like that for the first page of my third signature. I think it's really hard to choose though. All right, I like the ones with the words. There's a couple different ones with words in different colors. So that's 2. That's pink. I don't want to go too heavy on the pink. But I really like that. I am making some tough choices. That's very pink. I think I like this dark one. So we're gonna have, we have those 3. We have these 2, but then this one's green. So then that makes me feel like the green should go here, which then puts this, this, and this back together. So I don't know if I love that. It's a lot of hard choices. I could do that, but I don't love that either. But I could do this. And there's some like strong contrast, and then I'll group this one in with these, and it will just be, that's how we'll do that. Okay, and then the next thing is I like to do pocket pages in my signatures. And those have to be something I can fold up. So when I make my pocket, I'll fold it up like this, and then so this will be upside down. I do like this one. So it just has to be something that the pattern still works upside down. And I did see a couple that I wanted to. This one. And then this one in blue. I think it was one in blue. I could have done these as well because this is a non-directional pattern. Just like a pretty pattern. That's not it. Although I did have the words in blue. This. Just checking. Yes. All right. So there's that. Those. And then we can put this away because now I'm done with this. The rest of it I will save for my class or to make more journals. Just gonna plop that down there. Okay. This book is kind of a large book. I usually try to work with books that are gonna be not hard to cut my papers to size, but this one is bigger. And I'm trying to find a ruler. And of course, I have a million of them, but never where I need them. I swear there was like one right here. Got all my tools. Didn't get a ruler. Okay. I have this, which is giant, and I'll show you. This is my new paper cutter. It is a little insane. I don't think most people would be needing a paper cutter this big. It is 12 by 15. I wanted something rugged, and the reason I wanted something rugged is because I tend to travel with it a lot and I'm a little abusive with it. So that's where we're at. I think actually the next step, because I'll show you, it makes it a little easier. And we will be doing this in class, but because I have experience, I use this little X-Acto knife. Because I have experience, I will be offering to simply do this step for people when I'm teaching, because it's a little intimidating. But it's a book. These books that I get, all the books that I use are library discards, which means I actually have a relationship with a couple of local libraries, and when they are literally going to recycle their books, like there was nowhere else these books were going but the recycle bin. They call me and they load up my car with all their hardcover ones and let me pick through what I want, and then I donate to the library, and then they don't have to recycle as many books. This is glued in, so I'm just going to rip it out. Alright, the best way for me to measure typically, let's get to the first page that doesn't rip out all this glue. Put that aside. I might use that later. I might not. I'm not a fan of the content of this book. It's like a weird autobiography about somebody. I don't know. But I don't know. I wasn't a fan of it. So I'm just going to quickly trim these off. And I'm just doing that like this. But it sheds glue, so I'm doing it over a trash can. See? Smaller now. A lot of times you can just peel it back to that piece of cardboard there and trim it. Try not to cut anything you don't want to cut, but you can always put tape on it. That's that. I have this. Usually put tape and fabric on the spine. I don't have either of those, so we're not going to do that today. We will prep our pages today. That is what I'm going to have time for. Very sharp X-Acto knife. Put the cover back on. Put it back in my bag of tools. Okay, 2 ways to measure your pages. Both of them kind of come out the same, but as you can see, this will go further out. So the best way often is to just measure this piece, keeping in mind that you only want to measure as far over as this white piece because they built in that little extra bit. You might as well. This looks like it's 5.5. We're gonna call it 5.5. And then I'm not cutting it, but I am trying to get it right on the line. And this looks like it's about 9. So I'm going to go with 5.5 by 9. And then what I'm going to do, and 5.5 is actually 11. So it's going to be 9 by 11. I have a piece of paper. I'm going to fold this paper to 5.5, and it's not going to be folding the paper in half. Maybe. It actually might be folding the paper in half. Well, 5.5 is 11. So it is going to be folding this paper in half. Because then we're going to check. Yes, I would normally use a bone folder. And then we're going to check. That's 5.5. So now we can hold this up here and see if we think it is wide enough. And if you can see the edge there, I don't think that's going to be wide enough. I think most of our pages are going to be that long though. So maybe we just roll with it because it is a little far from the edge, but we can always add stuff to the edges to extend them. And I'm not going to find a lot of papers that are wider than 11, except for the scrapbook paper. And then this is going to be at 8.5. And we can see that that's about 1/2 inch. So 9 inches by 11. 9 by 11. That's not bad. That's pretty good. We can work with that. So what I'm going to do, first thing I'm going to do is take my pocket pages. These are going to be my pocket pages. And this is what's happening. Okay. Cut this to 11. To stop for a minute and check myself. And then what I will typically do is I will fold to 9.5. So if I am trying to get to 9.5, 9.5, that's 8.5. I'm already confused. We just want to go to 9. We don't want to go to 9.5. We want to go to 9. And I will just go there approximately. And then the thing is, we can always trim it down a little bit. Like that does not look like I did the straightest job. So now we can go to 9. And if it's a little big, we can slice off that tiny part. Just a little bit. And we will save this for later. I save these. I don't know why I save these. It's compulsive. If you don't want to save yours, don't save yours. Okay, we are going to do it again. Cut this to, and I got this paper cutter and I didn't pay attention. Then the markings on it are centimeters. It's all like centimeters. I don't know why. Like, why are the centimeters the big lines and the inches the small lines? Because I bought it at Staples in person in America. So I'm just a little frustrated by that because it was in a box and it was not exactly transparent, that it would be challenging to measure in inches, and I usually measure everything in inches. So I actually have to cut an inch off of this in one direction. I want to cut the inch off of this in this direction. I'm sacrificing the pink because the cover's blue. I know. And then I want to make sure that this is the top. And I literally keep putting my bone folder down and then losing it. So for those of you that have been following me for a while, I have, or haven't been following me for a while, I have 2 little kids. They are 3 and they are 3 and 5. He's not going to be 5 for much longer. He's getting so big. They are 3 and 5. They are adorable. They are so sweet, but they are a lot. And my main job is to be home with them. So I had to wait for them to get to school to start really getting anything done. I'm trying to think and talk at the same time. So we want this to be 9 tall. And that's going to cut that off. So what happens, I like the green. I really like the green. I'm kind of trying not to cut the green. So what happens if we go to 9, then we will have, and then I think if we go 11, it'll cut right on the green. We'll have the green right up on that front edge. So there's our page, and there's the other one, and there's the other one. Didn't care about the placement of those as much, so I was able to do two. Again, I have two word ones here. I don't care as much about the placement, so I can overthink the placement here and then not worry about what's underneath it. So, what was I saying? Oh yes, I have 2 little kids. My main job is to be at home with those sweet babies. I love them, but they're, 3 and 5. They're a handful. So my son is in full-time kindergarten. He is in a special ed class. He is going to like speech therapy and stuff, so I do not have a lot of time. I pick him up after school 2 days a week, and I take him to his therapy. And that takes up a lot of my time. Like a lot of my time. And that's kind of just how life is right now, and I recognize that, and I'm fine with that. But it has been really hard to get a lot done. So I'm looking, I don't really want to have the top of this cut the books off. But it already is. So I think what I'm going to do is just sort of manipulate this one a little bit. And cut that there. And then it won't matter. So it is hard to like consistently film videos. It is hard to consistently run a business. And so that's why sometimes the like workshops and that kind of stuff works out better for me, because a lot of those happen on weekends and stuff, and so I can just be like, hey, I'm doing this thing on this weekend, and my family's like, okay, and then it happens. So we have all these gorgeous scraps, except that one. Don't save that one. And we will use these for something. Maybe not on this journal, but I will use all of these. Okay, so I think we're done with this, because all the other paper I have is about an 8.5 by 11. So I'm going to move this where it will stop murdering me. All right, and then we have to kind of put together our signatures. And we have to fold every single piece of paper that we have. And what my goal for today is to put together my signatures. I'm not going to do any... Is that going to get newspaper print? Oh, actually, it would be kind of cool. I'm not going to do any stitching onto the sides of these, because I am making an example journal for what I will be doing in a workshop where I will not have access to a sewing machine, and I will not have the option to offer that to anyone taking the class. So we're going to do like a more basic, but we are going to play with other things like tabs that we can staple on or glued on, or we're going to talk about pockets. How can we make these pockets without stitching them? That kind of thing is what I am practicing, because I love sewing on my journals more than anything. I really love sewing on my journals. So it is a little hard for me to not sew on my journals, so I need to practice. So yeah, it is hard to get time to work on stuff that isn't on the weekend. And when it is the weekend, I can't film videos because the kids are here. And even if like their dad's watching them, they're still running around. They're still laughing. They're still screaming. So it got really hard to film videos for a while because my daughter shrieks when she's happy. She's loud, and my office is in the basement, and if they're running around in circles, chasing each other, laughing, and having a good time, which is what I want them to do, I can't film a video because they are so loud. Okay, so we have these pocket pages already folded. Just gonna double check that fold, and then we're just gonna fold them in half like this. And of course, anytime that I make pocket pages, they do not come out straight. They never do, and they probably never will. No matter how hard I try, especially on camera. So I'm not going to overthink it. So hopefully this will be in April, a 3-week course. I'm working with an art center, so it's up to them when they get it posted and when I can start like actually advertising it. At some point when they get that posted up, I will add that to the description of this video for sure. But then after the class, once it starts, you can't buy tickets after it started. Okay, what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to end this video because we're getting on almost half an hour. And then I think I'm going to fold the rest of my pages and maybe do my spine off camera because nobody wants to watch me fold pages for 10-20 minutes. I mean, it's a lot of paper. I think I'm going to do my inner spine off camera, and then I will come back and organize the signatures, and then whatever is next will happen next. So here's where I'm going to stop. I've got my gorgeous papers, and I have to fold them all, and that's going to take a while, and nobody wants to watch that. But the gist of this is I am making a reading journal, a book club journal, or just a junk journal with a book club theme. You can have whatever theme you want for your journal, and then you could do whatever you want in it. There's no rules. That's the best part. So I have picked out my pages, and I'll show you what else I have here. I have some small envelopes. We'll be using those later, but not as pages. I have some geometric coloring book pages. I have some music paper. I have some dictionary pages. I have a bunch of lined paper. I probably won't use it all, but I have it. And then I have blue, pink, different blue. I think I have 2 pinks in there, but I'm not sure. No, 2 blues, pink, and brown colored paper. That's from Michaels. Love their paper. And then I have all my scrapbook paper, and if that's not enough, I have plenty of stuff I can pull, and we'll do that when we organize the signatures. We'll see if we need more stuff. So this is where I'm at. Thank you for watching. In my next video, I will give you more of a life update. I'll let you know what's going on. I'll be trying to post more consistently now that my daughter's at school, and I've kind of had a couple of weeks to catch up on some stuff, but there's still a lot to catch up on because stuff happens when you don't get consistent time to work on things and chores and work. So thank you all for coming, and thank you all for watching, and please follow me if you want to finish this series with me, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye everyone.